How do you select the appropriate respirator for sandblasting operations? Are you curious about how to choose the right respirator for sandblasting? This is an important topic, especially since sandblasting can create hazardous dust that poses serious health risks. Let's break down the steps to ensure safety while sandblasting. First, you need to understand the hazards involved. Sandblasting can expose workers to dust that may contain silica or other toxic materials. Silica dust is particularly harmful and requires a higher level of respiratory protection. The type of respirator you select will depend on the abrasive material used, the toxicity of the dust, and the concentration of airborne contaminants. Next, it is essential to use only respirators certified by the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. Non-certified respirators do not provide adequate protection against the dust generated during sandblasting. When it comes to types of respirators, the Type C abrasive blast supplied air respirators are specifically approved for sandblasting operations. These respirators supply clean air from an external source, protecting not just the respiratory system but also the head and neck from impacts and abrasive materials. There are four main kinds of Type C respirators. The continuous flow loose-fitting hood offers an assigned protection factor of 25. The continuous flow tight-fitting facepiece has an assigned protection factor of 50. The positive pressure tight-fitting half mask has an assigned protection factor of 1000, and the pressure demand or positive pressure tight-fitting full facepiece has an assigned protection factor of 2000. The higher the assigned protection factor, the greater the level of protection offered. Consider the abrasive material and the duration of exposure. For short, intermittent exposure during cleanup or unloading, properly fitted particulate filter respirators may suffice if silica is not present. However, for continuous or heavy exposure, especially with silica sand or toxic materials, a supplied air respirator is mandatory. Dust filter respirators are not suitable for continuous protection when silica is involved. Fit testing is another critical step. Respirators must fit properly to be effective, and fit testing is required for respirators like N95 masks. Operators should also undergo medical evaluations to ensure they can safely wear respirators. The work environment plays a role in respirator selection too. If you are working inside an exhaust-ventilated enclosure, exposure levels may be lower, but respiratory protection is still necessary. Employers must comply with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration's Respiratory Protection Standard, which covers respirator selection, maintenance, training, and use. It is important to collect and document exposure monitoring data to justify the type of respirator used. In high-risk jobs like sandblasting, the selection of respiratory protection is not just a regulatory requirement but a vital safety measure. Unlike other high-risk professions, sandblasting involves inhaling invisible dust particles that can be deadly. For sandblasters, the safest choice is a Type C supplied air respirator with a helmet that protects the head and neck, especially when using silica-containing abrasives. Employers should ensure proper training, fit testing, and maintenance of respirators. Even when using less toxic abrasives, respiratory protection should not be overlooked, as dust exposure can still lead to health issues. Selecting the right respirator for sandblasting involves assessing the abrasive material, exposure level, and work environment. Choose a NIOSH-certified Type C supplied air respirator that meets the necessary protection factor, ensuring proper fit and compliance with safety regulations.